We are final inside of Neville Arena. Auburn wins versus Georgia State 100-59. Welcome into the Lobtown show. Let's get straight to it. Talking a little bit of Auburn hoops tonight. Hopefully everybody's having a great night. A good win without Janai Broom. I mean, Janai Broom played the first few minutes of this game. Auburn still wins by 41 points. Cheney Johnson, an absolute monster tonight. We're going to definitely have to talk about the night Cheney Johnson had. Everybody welcome in. Go ahead and share the content out there with somebody on social media. And let's get this conversation going. Joining me live to react to what we got going on, my guy from the College Loop, Dylan Lark. Dylan, how we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. A little cautious, waiting for the news to break about what's going on with Janai Broom, but can't be mad about that win. It looked a little sluggish at times, but yeah. I'm gonna celebrate any game where we get to see JP Pegues finally hit a shot at least.
He did. The only shot he took, he made. So hey, congratulations to him for 1 of 1 shooting tonight. 100% on the night for JP Pegues. The breakout game for JP. But no, tonight was all about Cheney Johnson, really. 26 points in 30 minutes, taking up the slack for. I would imagine Janai Broom would have scored like 60 if he played in this game, the way Cheney was abusing these guys in the post. But he was 12 of 14 shooting, 2 of 5 from free throw line, only took 1 3 and missed it, but had 8 boards. So he was 2 boards shy of a triple-double. Of a double-double. And he added another 4 assists on the night. He was an absolute monster. What did you think about the game from Cheney tonight?
This is the kind of game that whenever he came in, I was super excited for him. When he came in from Huntsville, and once he caught up to the game, it was over for everybody. He's already been having a good season. This is just a breakout performance, and it had to happen at the. I don't want to say it had to happen, but whenever Janai Broom went out, you had to look at somebody to step up. And I don't know if it was going to be Cardwell to take up his spot, but Cheney Johnson did that and more tonight. I mean, you mentioned it, 26 points, 12 of 14. How many times did he almost break the rim?
I don't know. Tonight? He definitely left an imprint on the rims there inside the Neville Arena because he had a couple of highlight dunks out there.
Yeah, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Just an all-around great game from Cheney Johnson. Something that, I mean, again, I saw it coming eventually. The Cheney Johnson breakout game was going to happen eventually, and we finally. Hopefully, we get to see more of them. But I'm glad we got to see a big one tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good night from him. The other guys that really contributed on the offensive end, I'll start with the guy who was a little bit more efficient. Third leading scorer for Auburn on the night, Denver Jones, 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3 tonight. Didn't have any other stats to speak of. No rebounds, no assists, but 17 big points from him, again, taking up the slack for the missing Janai Broom on tonight. Talk about Denver Jones a little bit.
I will say, I mean, you had a pretty quiet night from every guard, just about. Denver, I mean, you look at the team stats, 9 of 25 for Auburn from the three-point line, 5 of those 9 coming from Denver Jones. And he's starting to show off the three-point shooting that he was a little inconsistent at last year at times. He's been very consistent this season. I think it was last Holiday Hoops Giving versus Ohio State, where he was like 4 for 5 from the three-point line. Yeah, so you're starting to see a lot of just hustle and consistency out of him from beyond the arc. Because at points you don't really get that from the rest of these guys.
Yeah, you missed that from him in that game versus Duke. And since then, I think he's just kind of been on a mission. And you're seeing a lot more of something that people have been clamoring for is less minutes from JP and more minutes from Tahad Pettiford at the point guard position. Tahad being able to stay out of foul trouble has allowed him to play more minutes, and he's played consistently, which has allowed Denver to play more of the off guard role at times during the game. And you can see when he gets into his shooting rhythm, he's absolutely crazy out there from 3. Again, 5 of 7 tonight from 3-point range. The next guy we'll talk about here, Chad Baker Mazar. To me, Chad kind of had an uneven game. He scored 19 points, 4 of 11 shooting, but he had 11 points from the free throw line. Like, of the 19 points he had, 11 of them were free throws. He added another 6 assists and 4 rebounds to it. I felt like not just Chad, really everybody in the first half was taking some really kind of selfish shots and just rushing stuff. And they were taking things that weren't in the flow of the offense. But the playmaking ability for Chad Baker Mazar, I think, is the thing that allowed him to be as effective as he was tonight.
One thing you got to mention about those 11 points from the free throw line, he got those 11 points off of 11 shots from the free throw line. He went up definitely from the 90% he already was, but just one of the best free throw shooters I've ever seen in an Auburn jersey.
Yeah, definitely consistent guy from the free throw line. Love the fact that you have a guy who draws fouls at the rate that he does, but is able to still knock down the number of free throws that he is at the clip that he is. There's some good free throw shooters on this team this year, and he is definitely one of them. The last guy I want to point out here as far as contributions, sneaky contributions, I'm going to say, is from Chris Moore tonight. I loved the minutes, Chris. Well, let me give a combination of that. The minutes that you got from Turtle and the minutes that you got from Semo. Big minutes, because Auburn was having to play a lot of small ball tonight with Janai not being in there and trying to give Dylan Cardwell a rest. You had Chris Moore, Cheney Johnson, and Jaheim Hudson playing a lot of minutes at the 5 tonight for Auburn. So talk a little bit about that, like what you saw from the guys on the interior against a team that rebounds really well. Like we're talking about, you drew even in rebounding without one of the best rebounders in the country even playing more than 2 minutes in this game. But big minutes from other guys stepping up at the 5 position.
Yeah, because without Janai, it definitely felt like there was definitely the missing piece of Auburn getting rebounds. There was a lot of Auburn getting out rebounded under the basket. We're not akin to that this season. It's right. Been Auburn just out rebounding everybody all season long. Outside of, I think there was one game where Auburn just got outmanned. But tonight, yeah, without Janai, I think a lot of this game, it was Champy and JJ both were talking about how for most of the game, Georgia State had more rebounds than Auburn did. Mm-hmm. And you had to, whenever you got to see Jaheim more, I love watching Jaheim play, especially watching him play against his former team. And there was a period of the game where he had to get, back into, get the swing of playing more minutes, him and Semo both. And they just played with so much hustle tonight to be able to get Auburn back to being even with them in rebounds. Auburn out rebound them defensively, but offensive rebounds, I mean, you got to have Janai for that. Yeah. You got to.
Yeah, hopefully everything's okay with him. I'm sure that is going to be asked during the post-game press conference for an update, whether it was more he could have gone in the second half, but out of precaution they held him out, because when he came back from the locker room after the injury, he was still in his uniform. They just had him iced up. So I wonder if it was more precaution or if there's something more serious there, and he's going to.
He was wearing a sling at one point.
Yeah, after the half, when he came back out during the first half, he had a hoodie on, but he had it iced up. And then when he came out from the half, he was in a sling. And so it was clear they evaluated him at halftime. They were like, hey, we're just going to hold him out for the rest of the game. I wonder if that's mostly precaution or if there's going to be something more serious. Definitely going to be monitoring that situation as they go into the next game versus Purdue. Let's go over here to the comment section, see what you all are talking about tonight. Appreciate you jumping in here with us. As always, we'll be prioritizing those super chats in the Green Name Gang, but we'll jump it off with our guy Bob Pierce, who says Cheney freaking Johnson. Absolutely, Cheney Johnson, monster game tonight. 28 minutes, probably the most minutes he's played in an Auburn uniform. Definitely his points high in an Auburn uniform. Super efficient, 12 of 14. He was given McMullen, who is an athletic big, a guy who is a really good rebounder, but he was giving him fits. Like, again, I have to believe that Janai would have made this guy look silly tonight. And that's not any disrespect to Cheney Johnson's post game, but it was almost too easy at some points when Cheney was in there versus I was just like, yo, he's not ready to deal with a true back to the basket big, and Cheney was working him. Ben Bloodworth says, tinfoil hat time. What if Auburn told Janai to fake an injury to rest him more before the Purdue game? I mean, they could have just rested him. I don't think they had to fake an injury to do that. So,
yeah, I kind of went without the heart attack there.
Let's scare the fan base before the Purdue game. Let's do that.
It's I hope that is that injury. I mean, I think I've had a couple of that in a pickup game before. I know that hurt. I can feel the pain in that.
Riley Mobley says, War Eagle, y'all got the win, hit triple digits and covered, but no Broom doesn't feel right. Hey, listen, when he is the player of the year candidate and he goes down, it's definitely going to be it's going to be a different game. But again, for them to cover in the way that they did shows the depth of this team and the way that they've put things together that allow them to weather the storm against teams that they should beat and beat them handily, even when you don't have what is clearly the best player on the team out there. Let's see, what else do we have on here? P-Pass says the walk-ons helped the cover. We boys. Yeah. War Eagle boys. That's what he said. Not we boys. But yeah, man, definitely helped to secure that out there with not letting them score at the end. But I think great job overall. Let's take a look at some more of the statistics and dive a little bit more into this. Auburn shot 57% on the night. They were sub 50% at the first half, but did a really good job. Second half, Auburn was defensively, I think, was the difference in the second half for this team. They actually came out during the second half with some intensity, got some easy buckets, and I think they decided, all right, we're gonna really go to the post. And again, that's when Cheney Johnson really got to work there in the second half. But it was defense and going inside to Cheney Johnson in the second half that really allowed Auburn to pull away. 3-point percentage there. Auburn shot 36%, been shooting great from three in this season. 81% from the free throw line on 21 of 26 there. Had 11 turnovers, but forced 20 turnovers in this game. Again, even on rebounding. Now, offensive boards, that's the place where Auburn struggled tonight. They gave 17 offensive boards to this team tonight. What did you think about the effort on the glass there from Auburn, particularly on securing the defensive glass?
Yeah, I mean, it came to, again, as we mentioned, you lose Broom and you got to start relying on guys who aren't used to playing that role now because you start playing with a smaller lineup. I was pleasantly surprised by how Auburn was able to adjust after half. You don't have time to coach up your guys. Hey, Janai's not here for 30. You don't have a 30-second timeout worth of speech to like, hey, here's what we got to do now. Halftime, you came back. I think they rebounded a lot better in the second half. And I think they found ways to attack in the paint offensively, too. I mean, you outscored them in the paint by 30 or by 20, 52-32. So, yeah, again, just a great effort all around from the guys who had to step up. This is a great game for them to get prepared for, what's ahead with the Boilermakers on Saturday.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully Auburn is ready for that game. Purdue already kind of reeling this season, taking some losses early. And, again, the health of Janai Broom, I think, is going to be first and foremost on the minds of most Auburn fans as we go into the remainder of this week, looking to see what's going to happen versus Purdue this weekend in Birmingham. I will definitely be at that game since, I live over here in Birmingham. So it's an easy ride for me to get right down the highway to get to that game. Any other major things stick out for you in this one, Dylan?
Nothing too much. I mean, this is a win I expected all around. Right. I expected a win like this so much so that I even give a prediction because this spread pretty much hits for Auburn. I liked what I saw from Denver Jones shooting. I liked what I saw from just effort in general from the guys who had to step up. So I'm just hoping Janai Broom's is going to be healthy in time for that Purdue game because I don't know. I feel a lot worse about the season moving forward without Janai Broom, playing.
Yeah,
healthily.
I mean, Janai is basically it's clear that they've built this offense around Janai and his ability to not only score, but pass the ball out of double teams. He commands that double team. So the open shots are there a lot more fluidly. You saw some sloppy play out top where they were it wasn't exactly what it needed to be. They need to clean some of that stuff up, and that's with or without Janai. But yeah, it's the offense definitely flows very differently when Janai Broom is in the game. But again, it's good that you have those players that can step up, and that's why you went and got a guy like Jaheim Hudson out of the transfer portal who can give you big minutes when Janai's not able to go. That's why Cheney Johnson comes back for another year, because he can give you big minutes and big buckets when Janai's not able to go. So hopefully they'll be able to weather whatever the period of time is that Janai is going to be out, even if it's just for these days leading up to Purdue. Let's see here. Ben Bloodworth Super Chat says, if we beat Purdue, are we the number one even if UT wins? I think it's going to be difficult to unseat a team that's undefeated that keeps winning. I said the same thing when Kansas was number 1 and Auburn was the number 2 team. If they keep winning, then like, how do you, even if you feel like Auburn's the better team, if the team that's number 1 it hasn't lost any games, like, how do you move them down in the rankings? I think that's going to be difficult. What do you think about that, Dylan?
I mean, how can you unseat a team after taking on Middle Tennessee State on Sunday? You can't take them down a notch. I don't trust I don't like the AP poll whatsoever. I don't think they actually watch basketball. I think they look at the little record and that's all they look at. But by every metric you can go by, Auburn's the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
And if they're able to beat Purdue, I mean, it just further sets that in stone. If you go by the bracketology already, where we're at in the season, Auburn is not only the 1 seed, but they are the number 1 of the number 1 seeds, just based off every other metric. So,
metrics have Auburn up easily. But again, I think it's difficult when the number 1 team in the country has a loss and there's a team that is undefeated. That's been blowing the doors off of most teams. They escaped Illinois just recently, right? So they've had a challenge now, and really that might have been the best team that they've played this season is Illinois, and they beat them at the buzzer. So you have to wonder whether or not Tennessee's on a little bit of a fraud alert right now, and they're playing competition that's not really equivalent to them. But until somebody beats them, then you can't be mad at it. And listen, to your point, what really matters is how you're seated in the tournament. And so whether or not Auburn's going to be number 1 in December, I'm not worried about that. When we get to March, let's figure it out then and see who's the best team. And we'll have an opportunity to prove it versus Tennessee on the hardwood. Right. So there's going to be no doubt about it once you play the actual game. But a lot of that, number 1 talk, listen, you don't want to get into the Florida State scenario, but like, hey, is the questions will be there now. Is Auburn as good without Janai Broom? Right. That's going to be a legitimate question from people who want to look at eye test stuff and metrics. Are they as good a team without Janai Broom? And we will find out soon if that injury is more serious than just a precautionary hold him out for a half thing.
I mean, I'm all for if he can be back for SEC. If he needs to wait till SEC play to be back, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I would rather have a healthy Janai for the rest for SEC conference play all the way to the rest of the season,
right?
Than throw him in there versus Purdue and have anything else happen.
For sure. Valentia said that Cheney is going to make Sports Center. I might just put a dunk package together for him myself tonight with all those times that he was able to rock the rim tonight. Ben Bloodworth says, "We boys print the shirts." I might have to figure out how to do that. The We Boys shirts come into the War Report shop. I might make some We Boys hats just for the heck of it. I like it, Ben. All right, we're about to get out of here. Final thoughts before we wrap it up, Dylan?
Let's beat Purdue. I will say I will be out of town this weekend, so the live stream for Sunday will be a little iffy. I'm going on a trip to Charlotte with my fiance now.
Hey.
So making that more official across all platforms. Scream it to the mountaintops about that.
Yes, what's up, man? All right, well, tell the people how they can check out what you got going on.
Of course, you can check me out on the College Loop. It's over there right here on YouTube, or, of course, audio versions of the show as well. We got shows every Tuesday, every Thursday, and live streams on Sunday, talking all things Auburn ball, whatever shape it is, whether it's football or basketball, baseball, softball, whatever it is, we're talking about it.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I will be back at you guys with some Purdue preview stuff. We'll have the midweek report kicking off tomorrow right here on the channel. Make sure you guys lock in with that. We'll be talking plenty of Auburn transfer portal news going around. So we'll definitely dig into that a little bit. Women's basketball tomorrow morning. Louisiana Lafayette, I believe, is the team that they're playing. So you guys make sure you check that out. Otherwise, we are out of here, man. But until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.